People are talking about Winter showing a sign that she might be in a relationship with JK based on her shorts. We have RM talking about the BTS disbandment, people being upset about that. We have HYBE being demanded to take legal action. Say Dumplings, it's Dave Disci. Let's get into it. Recently, there's been a lot of controversy as RM was on a live stream and he decided to discuss his feelings and his process lately with everything. He ended up talking about how during the group's comeback, they were making a lot of plans. One of those plans that they thought was this idea of disbanding, and this is not something that is completely out of the norm or unusual, as the members have pretty much developed very much in their own ways and have very much done their solo stuff. So the conversation, of course, it's going to be, do they enjoy their solo stuff more now, and is that where they want to go, or do they want to continue as a group? RM specifically said that this thought came to his head about 10,000 times. This is at least how that conversation reads to me. However, other people had a very different interpretation as to what that meant. There were people who heard that conversation that RM was having during the live stream and basically took it as him threatening the community, saying that it felt very similar to a kid nagging to their mom, with other people saying that the idea of a team disbanding should be taken as seriously as a divorce and should not be said so carelessly. First of all, it definitely does not sound like a kid nagging to their mom. It's very interesting how the community puts themselves in certain categories of power. Since when would the fans be the mom? And since when would the artist be the kid? If anything, the artist typically treats their community similar to kids. They'll say, my children. The community is very much my baby, right? It's very rare or peculiar to have a situation where the community is called the mother and the artist is the kid. And then second of all, the team disbanding is nowhere near as big of a deal as a divorce. You know both people in a marriage. Let's say, for example, you're a child watching your parents get divorced. You obviously know your parents very well. And it becomes a shock maybe to some people when you feel like nothing's wrong and you've been there with your parents and you're like, you don't understand how this became an issue, because divorce typically only affects children, right? Or like becomes more of a scar for the child. And they typically feel like they did something wrong when obviously they didn't, right? Now, in this case, a group disbandment does not mean that something is wrong or that they might have differences and they're choosing to show their creativity in different ways. And of course, they're very much allowed to do that because, as I said or implied earlier, they would be the parents. They would be the ones that would be making the decisions. Some people have taken this as a guilt tripping thing because this came alongside the same stream in which he talked about not wanting to answer for JK or whatever he's doing. A guilt trip is just more so because people feel guilty. You cannot guilt trip someone who literally would not feel guilty. However, why does the community feel guilt? It's, in my opinion, it's because the community knows that they're doing something very wrong. The community knows that they have clearly overstepped. Many people are also talking about how JK and Winter were seen allegedly wearing the same pair of shorts, or at least it was believed that it was, that either of them bought the same pair of shorts or they're borrowing the shorts from each other. I spoke about this issue a little while ago, and it seems to be coming around back again, where a lot of people are discussing this and also now asking for Winter to apologize. The apology is strange because it was believed that she went into a meeting like this. So some people were saying that she was being inappropriate or too informal for said meeting. Obviously, these shorts are basketball shorts, but it's interesting because they're asking her to apologize for being too informal, but the real issue they want her to apologize for is for causing a dating rumor. Some people have gone as far as to say that she just can't leave after causing such a huge commotion and that they're demanding her to write a handwritten apology to all of her fans. When I see stuff like this, I literally cannot believe it. I mean, how on earth can you call yourself a fan and have this type of behavior? I don't understand how fans can feel entitled to a celebrity and feel like the celebrity owes them that much. Let's say the fan did buy things from the celebrity personally. Let's say the fan ended up spending $100 on merch and on clothes and on CDs and albums. So you think obviously the celebrity owes that fan a lot, and they do, right? But let's say I want to give you $100, but if I give you $100, you have to give up all those things like dating and freedom and all of that. Would you do it for $100? I mean, sure, her going to a meeting with shorts on probably won't be the most formal thing, but it's not like she's a corporate person, so it doesn't make sense that she would need to dress up in formal attire all the time, and she can choose whatever she wants to wear, and typically corporate executives would respect her anyway. The apology being demanded is more so just about her situation right now and people generally being upset at her right now. It's so upsetting to hear people say that they are trying to speak on behalf of the whole community, that whole community is upset with her right now. It's really eye-opening to see the fact that there actually are people like this right now. I think for the most part, people have kind of thought that the situation of people being mean towards a person with the dating rumor was more so a myth or a legend. And I think a lot of people felt like if it were to happen again, like a dating rumor were to happen again, it wouldn't result in something like this. But we are literally seeing how bad it actually is, and still is. And then on top of this, it's just her literally wearing green shorts that are probably popular, and a lot of people are wearing it for some reason. But she's the one who's getting accused of being in a relationship with JK for a pair of shorts. Part of me feels like it's just because she was wearing something informal, and she was wearing something that maybe perhaps people thought she wasn't supposed to wear, and then now that thing has been connected to JK, she's seen as attention seeking because she went out of her way to wear something that she wasn't supposed to wear. But again, this still goes back to shaming people for what they want to wear, and the bottom line is boy shorts, if you want to call those boy shorts, are very comfortable to wear. Why would you not want to be comfortable during a meeting or press conference? Now, every quarter or so, the label puts out a statement, specifically HYBE, on what legal actions they're going to be taking. They talk about some other malicious comments that might be prevalent, and they overall talk about what things they're taking actions on, but often, sometimes they're very vague about it because obviously they can't be so specific due to the fact that if they are more specific, it's going to impact the case. So people are typically just left to assume what actions they're taking. The fandom recently got up in arms because they were saying that the label needs to make a statement right now over all of this, like malicious rumors and stuff that are happening. I will say that a dating rumor shouldn't be considered a malicious thing, even if it was true, which I personally don't think it is. And it's quite strange to force a label to give a statement. I mean, I believe there's a schedule in which they do give a statement. I don't remember exactly when it is, but it's not very frequently. It's maybe like 4 times a year. And it's quite strange to force a label to give a statement. I mean, there is a schedule in which they do give a statement. I don't exactly remember. And it's funny because whenever the statement is going to be, people are going to assume that the legal action that was taken was toward the dating rumor, when it might not be, when the legal action might just be taken towards someone who's actually spreading horrible things. Typically, the only stuff that can actually be taken legal action on are things that will cause a celebrity to lose out on money. So these would be things that cause an artist to lose out on endorsements, will cause an artist to lose out on partnerships or things like that. Unfortunately for the community, things like petty fan drama is not going to cause the label to take action, and if it does, it's not going to result in anything because they can't prove defamation with something like that because fan drama, you can't really talk about it monetarily. So we shall see what the label says. People really want the label to come out with a statement. I really hope that they don't, and I hope that they continue their silence. It's going to let the community know that this is not the stuff that the label needs to address, and the label shouldn't be addressing petty fan war drama. And let's be really real. The only reason why people or some people in the community really care is because they just don't like the group, which is why we have comments like, "Winter, you're not suitable for JK," and probably one of the biggest reasons why the community sees the dating rumor as a bad thing is because it's a sign of betrayal. It's something that they need to apologize for because the fans spent all their time insulting that group, and now they're like, oh, you're dating the person that we are insulting? All of that was for nothing? But maybe that'll teach people to grow up and stop insulting each other. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.